Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage and our Thursday afternoon live stream. I do these live streams on Monday nights at 7 and Thursday afternoons at 3 because I try to catch up with people across the pond, let's say, over in Europe. And if they can be on, then it works to have a better timeline for them. So what we normally do on these live streams is we talk about cars. That's the focus, but sometimes we get a little off tangent once in a while, maybe a little bit. But we try to focus on classic cars, primarily old Mustangs, Camaros, Mopar stuff, whatever. And we try to answer questions. So, or talk about ideas or concepts or things we have going on. So what I try to do is ask people if they have a question about their classic car, and they can't find an answer, ask us and we'll see if we can answer it. If I can answer it, that's one thing. If I can't, I have a panel of people over here on the other side that usually have a better answer than I do in most cases. But if there is an answer and it's correct, you get a bell. Even I get a bell sometimes. And we also give out bells for, people being here. Typically it's Dave's. We get a lot of Dave's that show up. So anyway, I'm glad you're here. It looks like we have 19 currently showing viewing. If you would hit the thumbs up button, that helps get the stream going and get more people active as YouTube promotes it. They see activity and they go, oh, let's see what this one's about. So anyway, here we are. First person on the queue is High Miles Garage. Greetings from Wallingford, Connecticut. I'm glad you're here. I don't think I've seen that name before. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Jessica is here. Good afternoon to you all. Still have my coffee and Lowe's ad. Oh, okay. Nothing good on sale. Oh, well. Don Thompson with Betsy. Glad you're here. Jerry from Middle Tennessee. Very windy Middle Tennessee. It hasn't been very windy here, thankfully. We have had some clouds roll in. It's supposed to rain like tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. Rick Gain. Hi, Barry. Hope all is well with you. Beautiful weather here in New Jersey today. Well, that's a plus. That's a plus. Rick Stevenson. So we have two Ricks. So two Rick bells. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have to do a double bell. Like if two people show up, they get a double because of that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes today. Hi, Miles. Politicians talking in Tennessee. Yeah. That sounds about right. Crash Rider, good afternoon from overcast southern Indiana. Looks as if he has it primered. But yes. Yes, I do have primer on the body and the hood. I was second round of high build, and yes, it's coming along nicely. I do have all the other panels in the back, which is I'm prepping today to get all those sprayed. I have made a video on this right now and its current status. There's a continuation of that video. Well, the video for YouTube is here, and I have to just edit it and get it up. And then I've added some extra footage for Patreon. So I'm working on that in the back on the other panels. But yeah, she's looking good. Nandu, good afternoon, Barry and everyone. Glad you're here. See, and I can give Nan a bell because we've never had a double Nan. So I'll just give an independent bell for Nan. Ricard checking in out of Gas Garage. Hope things are going well with your project, Ricard. Steph, hi, long-time listener, first-time caller. I'll give you a bell for that. I like that. I've seen Steph. Where did I see Steph before? I've seen Steph, or at least that somewhere before, on email recently or something. I'm not sure. Bob Knoll, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well, Barry. I am. Thank you for asking. Thank you for, I guess, asking. Hope you're doing well. It's more of a statement than a question, but yeah. Ricky, and I feel old when cars from the 90s are considered classics. Yeah. I can't really. Yeah. I hate that thought. Big Red 67, Robin is here. Awesome. Dave Conville checking in. That's our first Dave sighting. John Van Horn, hello, Barry. The prep work is looking great. Yes, I'm pretty excited about it. Phil checking in and wearing my brand new Joe Daddy's hat. I bet you wish you had one too, or bet you wish you had one. Well, I'm glad it showed up, Phil. That's a good thing. I know I mailed out 8, and I still have probably 4 or 5 more packages to send out. I didn't want to, because it's such a struggle with our local post office. I typically go to a different post office in our county, a little tiny post office. So I can't run back and forth and, mail one every day. So what I'm trying to do is get a batch, 5 or 6 or 8 or whatever. And, then I can just make one trip and take care of it. So I do have several to box up. Dave Conville. I see that now says help, Barry. Because he commented, secondly, oops, that was supposed to say hello. I like help better. Is it help Barry or somebody help Barry? Rick Stevenson. I do. Yep. Should be coming. It should be on its way, Rick. I'm surprised that Phil got his, because I mailed out the batch a few days ago. And Phil, I think, is out on the West Coast. So moved pretty quick. Jessica, newest I have is a 96. Okay, my husband has an 02 GMC, but that's hardly mine. I just get to work on it. Yep. David Sherrill. Hello from Missouri. Hope everyone is doing well. Checking in before going to work. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here and checking in. That's cool. As I was saying, I've got Jade in the second round of high build. And I posted some pictures on Facebook and stuff. A shocking thing, I say shocking, nothing really shocks me anymore. But, I'd gone over this car, and the whole point of doing these things, as I mentioned, is to make sure everything is right before you get to paint. Because like I said, once you start painting, if there's a problem, you're usually, you got to backtrack and redo things. So I had already had one round of high build on here. I went over the whole thing, block sanded it, cleaned it all up, wiped it down, shot it again yesterday, and lo and behold, I found pinholes. I was stunned. I was just stunned. I haven't seen pinholes in a long time. And just to show you roughly, there was like 2 little ones up here on the front of the door, and down here on the bottom of this quarter, there's towards the bottom of the body line, there was like 2 or 3 little tiny pinholes. I thought, man, how could that be? I've been meticulous about this car, and it just proves the point. Hey, you've got to check these things over and over and make sure everything's right. So while I was doing the prep work on the fenders today, and the deck lid and the valance panels and everything else, everything was looking great. And I was spraying them down with my DX 101 wax and grease remover. And I sprayed it. I start blowing on it, and I realized I could see like a trail of liquid coming out of it. There were some more pinholes that apparently I missed. So what I did is I mixed up some, I have some dolphin glaze. It's, it's like a bag. I hate the bag because the bags always break, but it's like a bag. And anyway, so I mixed up just a small amount, and then I take a razor blade, get it on the razor blade, and just scrape it across those holes just to fill them in, just take care of it. And then what I'll do, like this one need a little more attention right there. So when I spray the rest of the panels in the back, I'll just come up here and touch up this corner and then the bottom of the quarter panel, and it'll be great. But man, it is looking so good. I'm so excited. I'm going to go over it again with, I'm not sure exactly what yet. Whether I will do, I might do 400. I think might go over the whole car with 400 just to, smooth out any texture at all that's in the primer, and then get it prepped for paint. I really need to get it painted because as I'm tripping over things in the garage, there's the headlight extensions and there's this box of this and this box of that and all these boxes and pieces and parts. You just start tripping over stuff. And if I had everything in one location on one car, I wouldn't be tripping over things. So anyway, let's see. So Dave, new t-shirt idea. I need help, Barry, with a picture of a wreck. I like that. Daryl, hi Barry, I'm back. I'm back home back now in Corvallis. MT, I guess that's Montana. Nice work on Miss Jade. Thank you. Ricard sent an email with some pictures of the progress on my 69. Okay, let me look at that. Well, I don't see that yet, Ricard. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay. Let me download these quick because Ricard's doing a great job on this car. Really great job. And let me see if I can get those over here quick. I say quick. Nothing's quick anymore. So, and the thing is, I have to open each one of these individually. I can't hyperlink and do them all at one shot. So, I'm going to show you what Ricard's working on. And I think, let's see, Ricard did a viewer's project video. So, progress on a 69 Mach 1. So, in the email says, had the car to my garage for the first time in 1.5 years last week. Need to paint the engine compartment and then start to assemble the car again. Many thanks for very helpful and informational videos. So, here's Ricard's 69 Mach 1. I am jealous because I would love to have a 69 Mach 1. Let me take his comment off of there so you can see. And one more shot. The engine bay. That's looking really good. Now I see some blue. Was the car originally blue? I see blue on the side there. Is that blue I'm seeing? Or am I just not seeing it correctly? Because it looks like blue. Anyway, let me go back here. I'm sure he'll catch up with us in just a second. David, 1965 Mustang, different number on chassis and on door tag. Anyone seen that? I have problems getting the car here in Europe legal. Is it such a big deal in the U.S.? It's actually not that big a deal in the U.S., depending on where your number is. Okay, so you're going to have a VIN number on the apron, left front. You're going to have another VIN number on the apron, right rear. Hopefully, those are the numbers you have and they match. Hopefully. The door tag is not that critical because many times people would maybe wreck a car. Years ago, they would just go to a junkyard, buy another door and put it on and not even consider that door tag. And those can be reproduced. That door tag can be reproduced. So the critical numbers are the numbers on the left front apron and the right rear apron. Those are the ones that really matter and you need to focus on. So if it was based off the door tag, that's going to be a bit of a problem, probably, because some people have been known to swap things out and try to pass off a car that's not what it really is. They'll say, "Oh, this is a GT, blah blah blah. Look at the door tag." Well, the door tags can be reproduced, and so that you can actually manipulate that. But the stamped in number, now of course, somebody can stamp in whatever numbers they want if they have the right punches. They can put in whatever they want to make the car match a certain if they have a title or something. Rick, I only hope the shop puts in half the amount of attention to detail as you do while they do my car. If they put in half of the amount of attention, they're going to have a lot of hours in that car. They're going to have a lot of hours in that car. I can tell you that. That's yeah. Ricard, original candy apple red. The blue is from previous paint job. Will be red like the car is now with satin black engine compartment. Cool. Yeah, I mean that's you're doing a great job on that. I know. I'm pretty sure. Didn't you replace both front frame rails? Is that correct? I thought you did because I know you made it as a jigged up assembly. I believe that's gonna be really nice. And I'm so glad you did that. I know we talked about it a few times that the car had been in a wreck or something and it was twisted, I think. And so you had debated on how you wanted to approach it, and I think you made the right choice. And just getting rid of all the bad stuff and making it right. That's a nice 69 project. Yep. Marshall got the first coat of litter skin sprayed yesterday, curing today with the final application going on tomorrow. Think I'm going to be happy with it. Then on to wiring. Get you up here one day. Yeah. I'll make the trip. I'll definitely make the road trip. Get up there and take a look at it. We'll just have to work out the schedule. See what's what. Okay. So I had another email that was secondary. Anyway, so I tried to show in the process of this video, taping it up, different ways that you can tape things, and there's variables to that, depending on what you're looking for as a finish. Of course, like the pinch weld up here in the door jamb, that gets covered. A little trim piece goes over that, so you could kind of get away with not worrying about the color. But if you're doing a complete color change, that's in a whole nother story. But if you're keeping it original colors, you can kind of, just not be too concerned with it. Again, pinch weld will get covered up by the seams, just like the windshield and the back glass. The perimeter will get sealed in with the glass. So not that critical. Jerry, Tuesday my Mustang broke loose and rolled into my shop. Now replacing fender, door, and much of the front end. Mental breakdown on my part, didn't set the parking brake. Which Mustang? Are you talking about this, the one you painted? The 65 or 6? What is it? I know it was 60. I can't remember if it was 65 or 6. That doesn't sound fun at all. Now replacing fender, door, and much of the front end. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. Ricard, frame rail original, but all new aprons, shock towers, and radiator support. Your advice was the tipping point for me to proceed. Many thanks again. Well, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad it helped. Jessica, my friend's C2 Opel Corvette was a 24-hour racer in Europe. Has a VIN on the steering column. Sorry for the spelling. So the VIN number is on the steering column on an Opel. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a VIN number on a steering column because that would be really easy to swap. Don, anyone install an E-Pass in a 656? Is there enough room under and around the dash, water motor, and pedals? I guess that E-Pass is electric power assist steering, I believe. I don't know of anybody who's done it. I've seen pictures, but I don't know if it was 65.6 specific or 67 and 8. I don't know, but I have seen it. I've seen people do it. I just don't have any information on that. So Jerry's saying it was 66. Yeah, okay. And Rick, his pony backed into a tree on its own. Yeah, that's a thing. I think, well, in some sense, we get used to our modern vehicles that have, you can't pull them out of gear until you put them in park. I mean, you can't pull the key out until you put it in park and shut it off. And, you can't pull it into gear until you press on a brake and pull a shifter and stuff like that. So it's got built-in safety things like that we're all accustomed to with the modern type vehicles. So we get into one of these old cars and it's easy to forget and just go, oh, I can just take the key out, not even think about it, not being in park or not being in gear. Pretty easy to consider that, and that's one thing. Although I do appreciate these cars having parking brakes. I don't know, like I don't have any parking brakes on Jade. I just don't. Will I put on parking brakes? I don't know. I don't like the pedal in the floor. Just like the early models had the pull handle, and then later models had the pedal on the floor. Just not a fan of that. So I don't know if I'll come up with something else. I know you can buy, I believe you can buy an electric parking brake to where you actually hit a solenoid or something and it puts parking brakes on with electric instead of a cable or something like that, which is appealing. I don't know what the default is if something fails. Like if somebody disconnects the battery, it's probably going to shut it off, if they were trying to like steal the car or something like that. So I don't know how efficient that is overall, but that's something I would consider as well. Jorge checking in. Have you done your move, Jorge? Have you finally moved to, what was it, Virginia? Made that big move out of New Jersey? David Sherrill, sorry to hear that, Jerry. Yep. Jorge, thumbs up. Thank you, man. And Jerry, I'm getting ready to install an E-Pass in my 66 Mustang. There appears to be enough room. Yeah. Do you know what kit you're using, or what have you decided to use? I know that some people have, electric steering out of like a Nissan or something, and some people are using it out of a Saturn, I think, an old Saturn. I'm not sure. I think companies sell those, but I know people retrofit old style pieces in. I get these random phone calls. And like here, I have a call from Pomona, California. Now, who's calling me from Pomona, California? I'm not going to answer that. Usually I get a call like that. I'm like, nope, I don't know who that is. Now, maybe I should because, I may have mentioned, have you seen that TV show, Assembly Required with Tim Allen? I watched that show a couple times and I was like, that looks like it'd be fun. So I went ahead and applied to the show. Whether they accept me or not, I don't know, but I think it would be fun, at least to try some of the stuff that they're doing with that. If you haven't seen it, it's entertaining. The concept of the show is they send people a crate, and they give them 90 minutes to build something. They tell them it's going to be like one thing they built was like a little flamethrower. One thing was like a doghouse door or something like that. And then out of the 3 people to compete, 2 of them move on and one of them is eliminated. And then the 2 have to have 5 days to build a big project. Now I don't know. I think they're looking for craft people, people that, makers as they call them, where they may make small scale things, but I applied anyway. Maybe they'll look for somebody who does car stuff, so haven't heard from them. Maybe that was a call. Maybe I need to check that. I'll check it later. But anyway, because I don't know where they're based out of anyway. Marshall, I put my parking brake on the trans tunnel because handbrake turns. Okay. I get it. Jessica, yes, as well as the other normal GM spots, goes well with the metric speedo and weights. I guess weights on the cow tag. That car is a long, cool story. I'll bet. I've just never seen a VIN number on a steering column. But that's interesting. Okay, so Don's saying, thanks, Jerry. Went to know before spending money. And Jerry's using the I Did It kit. So there's one reference. Thank you for that, Jerry. Jorge, still working on 424, I hope. Well, I hope it goes smoothly for you. Rick, answer and poke fun at the spammers. Yeah, I just don't have time. I get calls, and half time I'm in the middle of something, So I just let my phone take the message, because if I answered all my calls, I would not get anything done at all. Not get anything done at all. Jessica, Toyota Prius kit. Hoovie's car has it? Hoovie? Who's Hoovie? Is that a new word you come up with, Jessica? Not sure what that means. There was something else I wanted to mention. It went in and it went out. It disappeared. What were we talking about? Oh, Faraway. Faraway's here. Cool. Glad you're here. And if, I've said it before. If you haven't seen his paint videos, go check out his channel. Good stuff. Now, what was I? Man, I lost my train of thought on the. Yeah, Rick. Maybe it was hubby, but hoovies. That's an interesting word. We could get a definition for that. Jerry says, Dawn, it's not cheap. Runs about $2,000. Yeah, that adds up pretty quick when you're doing a steering setup. Like I've seen people like Jessica says, Toyota Prius. There's been several others, I think, that have like I said, the Saturn. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it enough to be able to give you a definite, type of car that they use it from. V Candy Paint. How you doing, man? I think that's a new name I haven't seen before. Gosh, there was something else I was going to mention. I know I should have wrote that down. I should have wrote it down. But anyway, what's everybody else working on? Jerry's obviously having to fix up some damage from his car crashing into his garage. Okay. See, Jorge sent me a text. in the middle of this, he sends me a text. You're supposed to if you send a picture, Jorge, send it to my email so I can see what you're sending me. Unless you don't want me to post it, and that's okay. I won't post it. V, loving your videos. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Candy Paint. So I guess, are you doing? I'm guessing paint work. I guess. I don't know. Oh, that maybe was one other thing. Oh, okay. So Hoovie's. Okay, so she's saying Hoovie's Garage on YouTube. Well, there you go. It was Hoovie's. I haven't heard of them, so now we know. High Miles Garage. If the call's important, they will leave a message. No name, no answer. Yeah. That's why I just don't. Most time I just don't bother. It's just too much going on. Okay, Candy Paint does paint work. Cool. Rick Stevenson, I pulled out the passenger side torque box today, getting ready to replace the passenger side frame rail. That's a job. That's a job. That is a tough job. So hope that goes well for you, Rick. Faraway. Just let everyone know there's a giveaway coming this weekend. 10 prices? Should that be 10 pieces? 2 paint guns also. I hope you mean 10 pieces. I'm guessing. So if you haven't, go check out Faraway's channel. Make sure if you has a contest, maybe you get in on it. Maybe I'll even enter. Who knows? Rick, thank you for the super sticker, man. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Man. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to have to do a overview or another look at the suspension on Jade. I don't know what is making a noise, but I have something making a noise. Okay, so Crash Rider saying prizes. 10 prizes, 2 paint guns. Maybe that's it. Prizes makes more sense. I get that. All right, Crash Rider. Good call. Okay. Yeah, far away saying yes. Sorry. Okay. But I noticed, I put all new suspension underneath the front of this thing, and when I headed out, uh, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I just drove it down my road, just a little shot down the road, brought it back, just because, and something's making noise, and it's surprising me because it's like it's got a clunky sound going over the bumps. I don't have a sway bar on it yet, and I've tried to bounce it a couple times. I don't know what it is. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm gonna have to revisit the front end to make sure everything is right. Because obviously, you don't want to be driving down a road and discover that, hey, something's off the car now, and you're in a ditch. That would be just not good at all. So anytime you're doing this sort of stuff, make sure you check everything. I made it. Being an aircraft mechanic, gosh, I torture myself every time I'm tightening anything. I could change the oil in somebody's car, and I'm checking the drain plug 3 times, checking the filter 3 times. I can't help myself. It's kind of an OCD thing, and I have to go to a point where I actually physically tell myself, I touch the bolt and I say tight. After I've tightened it, I put my finger on it and I say tight, and that it's just kind of a thing that I do to try to keep myself from going crazy over these things. Let's see, Candy Paint, sorry, $10 super sticker, awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Let's see, far away. Add a GoPro camera, maybe you can see the problem. That's a good point. I do have my GoPro. Oh. Guess what? I have an air compressor running. I forgot to disconnect it. Hold on a second. I know it'll run for a period, so talk amongst yourself for a minute. It's nice to have it outside until you have to go shut it off. Let's see. Candy Paint, it's lunchtime. I got you on a sandwich. You got me on a sandwich. Okay, that works. Anyway, so I have to check the suspension again and make sure that's all right. And I'll point this out. Yeah, John Higgins, maybe a bushing and a control arm popping. It's possible, but it's all new. I mean, new upper control arms, new lower control arms, all new. The spindles are the disc brake conversion that I put in, and I don't know. I'll figure it out, but it's just kind of one of those things. It's like that should not be making that clunky noise. Jerry, thank you, man. Wait, that's a better bell. Appreciate that. Let's see, Rick. My compressor's in a garage under my bedroom. It kicked on at 3 a.m. a few years ago. That would wake you up quick. And that's the advantage right now. I have it outside, so even though I know you heard it, but having it outside has made it much better in here, and it's given me, taken something out of the footprint of the garage and gotten it out of the way. So that's kind of been a plus as well. I was watching. Speaking of far away, I've watched his videos several times, and what I really like about his setup, I mean, he's not in a complex $1 million paint booth. He's doing stuff in basically what I would say is a homemade style of paint booth, and the work is great. He turns some really nice stuff. He has a dedicated paint mixing area, and he's gone over some great videos on how to mix stuff and different things. But he also, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he has just a round fan pulling air out of the shop or blowing air out of the shop, let's say, and air coming in from the opposite side. And it looks like it does a great job. I really do appreciate how that's set up. And I don't know if I could get away with something like that here, because I've talked about it before. that I would like to, pressurize the booth, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. Because I want to try to keep everything going out, the back windows type of thing. But I like what, it looks like Farway's got a pretty cool setup. So, and there's a really cool opening sequence on his videos, a big gorilla thing. I think that's cool. Let's see, Jerry, I have on occasion popping in new suspension I installed. I have rocked and looked and have not found the issue. Still looking. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I don't know. I know it's on the right front. That much I know. I'm pretty confident it's not the wheels. They have the recessed lug nuts that go in. You have to have a special socket. And I know I put those on right, but just one of those things. It's like, what could possibly be making that noise? So I'll figure it out, but it's just, you got to make sure it's right. Jessica, you asked what we were working on. For me, it's tiny truck, RC, poor week, so no parts for big cars. Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I have a tiny truck that I made some videos on, or at least one video on my other channel. It's a generation, what is it? I can't even remember the name of it, but it's an International Scout that comes like ready to go. So I bought one of those. I got it used and had a good time with it. And it's basically sitting on the shelf. I have not been able to find the motivation, let's say, to take it outside and play with it. Rick, my front suspension knocked for a bit when I installed it years back. It worked its way out and never found a problem. That may be, that may be something too. It just has to work its way loose, work its way out of the system. I don't know. Jerry, I'm going to have to repaint my 66, so I'll check out your site. Yeah, check out his stuff. He does some good work. Nandu, working to get a 64 C10 on the road soon. Okay, that's cool. I'm good with that. And not to get too far off into the family realm that I'm dealing with at this point. But I've said it, and I'm not really going to dwell on it much. My brother passed away a few weeks ago, and we're getting by. We're progressing through life, which is fine. But one thing that he had possession of is a '63 Studebaker Avante. Now I say he had possession of. It's actually my dad's car, but between the two of them butting heads, the car has been kind of, let's just say, locked away. So I know it's going to be coming up probably in maybe next year, that something is probably going to happen with that car. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know what's going to transpire. But it's a 63 R1 Avante, so it doesn't have the supercharger. That's one thing that, they had the R1, R2 versions. I think they even made some R3 versions of the Avante. But anyway, so that's something that is going to could be, I don't know how to word it. I can't say that I'd really want to rebuild that car, but it's unique enough that it's really cool to consider the idea. And also there's some things that are going to be involved with the whole family dynamics. But, that car, I remember, I think I rode in that car at some point in its life. But it has been sitting, for decades. The bad part is it's not sitting in a dry environment. Now, the Avante is fiberglass. It's a fiberglass body on a steel frame. So it's not going to rot. But the problem is the interior is, I know it's been getting moldy just from sitting. And the car was originally metallic silver and had black interior. And they're cool. They're cool cars, but they're not everybody's cup of tea. Let's put it that way. Because there's the cult following Studebaker enthusiast, and then there's occasionally some oddballs who have bought the later versions of them because the I think 63 and 4 was the Avanti, and then Studebaker went out of business in 66. So the Avanti was kind of a last ditch effort to save the company. And then they sold the molds to somebody else who then reproduced that body with a Chevy drivetrain. So they changed the body slightly. Like the original car had round headlights, and sometime in the 70s, 80s, they put in like square headlights in those cars. I know the original car had a little narrow bumper, and I think, hold on, our dogs are barking. Let me see what's going on. Never mind. UPS is dropping something off. But anyway, the 63 whatever had a little skinny bumper on it, and I think for safety to meet government requirements, they had to put like bigger bumpers on these cars in the 80s. The biggest problem with those cars was they had really weird frames. So like they called them hog trough. Like the hog trough would fail or whatever. And I think the way it was designed, if I remember correctly, it was almost like a unibody style, like the. See if I'm getting this right. So it has like a U-shaped channel, kind of like the rear frame rails on the Mustang, and then it had a cap. The problem was it could not let any water out, or debris and sand and salt would get caught up in there, and it would just rot it out. So it was not a good design. And I know this particular car, my brother had sometime in the 80s, he cut out pieces of metal and put in patches, to try to rebuild that frame. Years ago, I found a company or somebody that had some of the original frames. And this was back in the early 90s. And I had tried to talk my dad into going in on buying a frame, because I was going to buy an original frame and eventually put that body on the, original style frame. Of course, he didn't want to do it, and those are long gone. So now I've been researching. I did find some cars that were like wrecked. I think they're out west somewhere. And I was trying to see if I could get the frame from one of those, California cars to put underneath this original 63 body. Who knows? It might come about. It might not. I'm not gonna sweat it. I'm not gonna worry about it. And even then, I still don't even know if I want the project, because it's gonna be a big project. I know it's gonna have a lot of issues. The car's been sitting for a very long time, and it may be something that, hey, maybe we just need to sell this to somebody else and let them work on it. So that might be a consideration as well. But just one of those things. John Higgins, that car is a predecessor to just about every modern fastback. Cool car. Yep. Yeah, you're right. And in fact, I've said it before, Studebaker was always ahead of their time in the 50s, into the 60s. They were ahead of everybody else on design. And while the Avanti has a weird kind of look to it, you compare that to any car made in 63 and there's nothing. No, it's like I mentioned before, the 53 Commander, 53, everything else in 53 was a chunky box. And Studebaker brought out this low body, sleek, aerodynamic car, and everybody was just like, what in the world? That's crazy looking. Darren Show, far away going, check out your channel and subscribe. Cool. Hi, Miles Garage. I am working on old age, trying to figure out how to get old without the old. Yeah. We're all trying to figure that out. John Higgins molds went to someplace in Indiana, early 80s. Yep. Yep. And I often wondered, what did they use for frames? like the 80s model cars, did they buy up all the excess frames from Studebaker, or did they design their own? You know, because I'd even be okay putting in a whole different frame if it made more sense. Jerry, if you decide not to do anything with Avanti, I'm interested to purchase. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's going to be some, I don't know. There's going to be some conflict over it. I know it's going to come, along with several other things, but that's probably the highest thing on the list. Let's just put it that way. Jessica, my friend had the C2, also has a Avanti. I can see about hooking you two up. Email me when you know what is going on with it. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to remember that. Rick Gain, Art Morrison makes custom frames. They may be able to help. Yeah. Well, I think if one idea that I had, is to take the original frame out from under it and just replicate it. Either one, replicate it piece by piece, or replicate it with a tube chassis. You know, make it a real tube chassis. But not real sure what the approach is going to be at some point. But we'll see. So, and then there's another car. And I think I've talked about it before. I know I've talked about it before. There's another car there that's really, really odd. Still up at the property. It is a 64 Studebaker Daytona. And the history is they were trying to get people to buy these cars. So they had I think it was Granatelli brothers, were drag racing. And they asked them to come in and do something to help them build these cars and make them more, interesting or performance oriented. And so the Granatellis were like, yeah, sure, but we want access to your entire inventory. And Studebaker's like, yeah, go ahead, whatever's here. So what they did, if you look up, one car was called the Flying Tomato. You can look that up. It's still racing today. But what they did is they took these cars that were production model cars and they added on to them. So like, let's say you had a regular two-door Daytona and it came with the stock 259 engine, or, you can get the 289 as well. And the point being that Studebaker overbuilt their engines because they had optioned them for superchargers. So the 289 was built to already handle superchargers. So any of them could do it. But from my understanding, I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. Anyway, so the Granatellis, I hope I'm right with the Granatellis. I could be wrong. I think that's the right name. But they took the inventory from Studebaker and they said, okay, we're going to put superchargers on these cars. We're going to put a posi traction rear end underneath it. We're going to put your, better transmission or better brakes or whatever. And they started building these kind of supercars in a sense. You talk about 63, 64. They just turned them loose. The point being, one of these cars, it's still up at the old junkyard. I've shown in pictures or videos, I think, but it is a 64 Daytona with the R1 Avanti package engine. So it had R1 emblems on the fenders, and the car came with what they call a twin traction rear axle, big beefy rear axle. It came with disc brakes. It came with power steering. I think it may even had air conditioning. And what's really kind of crazy about the thing is it's a four-door. So it's this four-door kind of performance car with bucket seats. So it's a four-door Daytona, bucket seats with a center console and a floor shift. And then it had a gauge package. They used, I believe, Stewart Warner gauges. The speedometer went up to 160 in this car. And then it had special lighting. They lit up, I believe they lit up, I want to say they lit up green. No, I think they lit up red in those cars. Normally they would light up kind of green. So anyway, that's there, but it's like literally sunk in the ground and falling apart. And I had thoughts about it before of taking the components from that car and cloning that car into another four-door Studebaker. Now, the thing is, it'd be hours and hours and hours and hours of labor and time and money. And the thing is, nobody really knows about these cars, so there's no return. Like I saw one for sale, same kind of car. It was actually for sale, and it was over in Europe, and they were trying to sell it for like I think the equivalent of $16,000, something like that. But the thing is, it's not something you could prioritize and say, well, I want that one because it's whatever. People just they don't know about it, so they don't think much about it. And they don't want to. There's no high end return on it, so it would be like a labor of love type of thing. So that's something else that I've considered. May or may not happen, but just one of those things. Jorge, that is a cool car, but sell it, put the money in Jade. Oh, you're talking about the Avante. Yeah, I don't know that I would. If it were sold, I know it would. The money would go to my dad. I can just say that. I wouldn't have any part of it. David and Cheryl got to get going. Barry, keep up all the good work that you do. Big thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, something else that I want to bring up, and I was trying to sell some 14-inch Magnum 500 style wheels, Mustang wheels. So I was trying to sell those, and I listed them for sale, and had a gentleman contact me, and I want to bring this up just because he came to look at the wheels and decided he didn't want them because the tires, honestly, are not probably the best. And he was looking for putting them on his, I think, 65 Fairlane. Well, he gave me his card. And I can't say if he has tons of stuff, that maybe somebody could use. I don't know. But he does buy Fairlanes and sell parts. So he gave me his little business card here. And so I'm just mentioning this. But the website he has says fairlanefirst.com. So I'm going to just type that in. Fairlanefirst.com. Now, again, I don't know if he has anything, but I know we have people who've been on here who've been looking for Fairlane related items. So maybe he has something that could help somebody. I don't know. I'm just mentioning that. And he has a email, fairlanefirst@aol.com. So I'm hearing something hiss. Anyway. So if you're looking for Fairlane parts, maybe give him a shout and see if there's something that can maybe he can help you with something. But just a thought. Boyston's Restoration. Checking in late from Norway. Glad you're here. So Stein, did you ever build your weren't you going to build a tip jig? I know I think you talked about building a tip jig. Did you ever get that done? And I know you're working on a BMW as well, but I was curious if you ever got that tip jig made. Okay, so that takes care of that. That was the other thing I know I wanted to talk about. So at this point, I'm going to be finishing up the apron or the aprons, the valance panels, the deck lid, the rock guard, quarter panel extensions. Oh, here's another thing I forgot. When I was doing the prep work on all those panels that I have in the back right now, just something to keep in mind, especially on the 67 and 68, the valance panel, the turn signal lights, parking lights that go into that panel, they're painted. There's a trim ring design. So those are painted as well. And I almost forgot about those. So I need to get those in primer, and I dug them out, and I have them now in the back. And and get it on there. Get the paint on or the primer on those. So just keep that in mind. There's one other thing, and I may address with that is the bumper guards. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put the little bumper brackets on. I'm debating on it, but I do have the original ones. They're going to need repainted as well, unless I buy new ones. I don't know. I haven't decided because somebody painted them. I'm not even sure if they're supposed to be painted. Maybe they're supposed to be chrome. But anyway, just think about those little accessory pieces that they don't come to your mind. It's easy to think about the doors and quarter panels and trunk lid and deck lid and all that stuff. But like I said, those little parking light deals, I would have forgot about them completely if I hadn't walked past the box and kind of tripped over them and go, oh, yeah, I need to get these out there. Anyway, also, Stein says he did build it. Go to my channel, a vid there of it. Okay, I may have seen that. I don't remember if you did a video of the build or if you just did a video showing it in action. I don't remember. If it was, I think you made a short video of that process, but I can't remember. But that's something I'm still interested in doing. I just haven't found the time to do it or anything, much anything else at this point. Okay. Well, we're about an hour into it, and I'm probably going to have to call it here in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so Stein says in action. Okay. I'm probably going to have to call it here in a couple of minutes. I'm getting a weird pain in my throat again. I don't know what's going on with it. Let's see. So I'll have the video out tomorrow on, the primer going on the car and taping it, of course. So hopefully that'll help out some people. So Rick, okay, you're saying yours are painted, the little bumper guards. Okay. Well, the ones I have are painted too, but I wasn't sure because some people can just paint them, just make them look like that. And if I may just paint them, and if I decide to use them, they'll be ready. And if I don't, well, they don't. They'll just sit. So still up in the air on that one. Anyway, so I'll get the video out tomorrow, and I kind of paused on the motorcycle. Part of the reason I had to do some additional work on the seat pan that I was building, and oddly enough, I ran out of resin. I went to the local parts stores to buy more resin, and they only had the great big can, like the great big gallon can of resin. I don't want that much. It's not worth it. It'll sit around and won't go to use. So I'm trying to find a smaller can that I used previously, and nobody has any. So I had to kind of just I need to keep other things. Something's not right. Wait a minute. Let me get back to that. Ricard, on the idea of doing a coupe fastback conversion, have you considered buying a cheap 69 coupe and making a fastback conversion to a Mach 1 clone? I have considered that. Don, thanks for the info. See you on Monday. Yep. Michael, these sessions are great. Thanks for the chat. I'm still working on my 70 coupe. It's driver, but need more body work before paint. It's been in the family since new. Cool. Crash Rider, see ya. Yep. Starting to break up. See you on Monday. Okay. I'm going to call it a day. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I'm tired of fighting with it. So I'll be back on Monday night at 7. Hopefully things are working smoother. We'll find out. But that's going to be it. So until then, Take care of yourselves. See ya.